What's up guys, I'm Phoenix Master 1 and welcome back for some more Fire Emblem Heroes. So in this video I'm going to be going over the top 10 legendary weapons that need a refinery upgrade. Recently with update 2.1 we got a refinery upgrade for George and Sanaki's legendary weapons. So this does mean that they can always add more upgrades for legendary weapons in future, and in this video I'm not only going to be listing the legendary weapons which need an upgrade, but also go over the upgrade which I would personally like them to have. And I'm going to be explaining my thought process and my reasoning as to why I gave them that upgrade. So I hope that you guys do enjoy this video and let's begin.
My path is certain!
So on number 10 spot I've got CORRIN. When Children of Fate banner was announced in December, a lot of people thought that he would get a refinery upgrade to his weapon, but nope. Not only there was no Kana on that banner, but CORRIN did not get an upgrade. The biggest flaw of CORRIN is that all of his stats are mediocre. He doesn't really specialize in anything and he's too balanced. His YATO refines into Omega YATO because in Heroes, in his sprite, he has got Omega YATO, but he does not have Omega in the weapon name for some reason. So in Fire Emblem Fates, Omega YATO would give CORRIN +4 to all of his stats, but of course in Heroes, giving a unit +4 buff to all of their stats in a single phase would be just too much, and like I said before, CORRIN is just too balanced, so that's why he actually makes good use of this refine. So he gets Sparrow built into his weapon, getting +4 attack and +4 speed when he initiates an attack, and that pretty much brings him to 52 attack and 36 speed in the player phase, and when a foe initiates an attack on him, he receives +4 defense and +4 res, reaching 32 defense and 28 res in the enemy phase. With his good HP of 45 after refine, it makes him decently bulky, so he's able to function in both phases, and this gives players a lot of flexibility on how to build him. You can just go with the balance route and run something like Fury on him, and if you want him to excel more offensively, then you can even stack it up with Sparrow slot a skill or Darting Blow. He can also be built for enemy phase with something like close defense or distant counter, and this refine definitely helps him in being a mixed phase red unit, and in a way it does make him unique. Siegbert already has Sparrow built into his weapon, but he's extremely offensive, but CORRIN is just going with the flow of being a balanced unit and working in both phases.
We Fangs eliminate lowlifes, no matter how high their station.
On the 9th spot I've got Lloyd, the White Wolf. Lloyd has been messed up pretty badly in Fire Emblem Heroes, from having an art that does not reflect how good looking he is in Fire Emblem 7 to getting straight up outclassed by Joshua as a mage tank. So I definitely think he deserves a refine on his Regal Blade. +2 buffs are absolutely nothing when we have got Weapon Refinery on weapons like Sling Edge and Vodal Plus, so that's why I think he deserves +4 to his attack and speed if the enemy is at full health. The extra effect he gets is a dual ploy, so he will have defense ploy 1 and speed ploy 1 built into his weapon. Speed ploy helps him with Regal Blade buff, and it helps him double more enemies, and defense ploy helps him do even more damage. And it does work nicely with Regal Blade because the buff you get is only when the enemy is at full HP, so you want to strike as hard as you can and double the enemy to do most amount of damage and potentially even take them out. He does not threaten Arvis though with his refine, because Arvis has got better resistance than Lloyd to make use of ploys, and Lloyd only has version 1 of the ploy skills. Lloyd can make good use of his decent resistance and ploy enemies and then attack them with his Regal Blade buff. Also, along with Arvis, free-to-play players will have another great debuffer in Lloyd. Lloyd with his refine also gets +2 might to his weapon because base 30 attack is not really enough, and he can run Fury to ploy his enemies better, and then also run Attack Ploy Sacred Seal to ploy 3 stats of enemies, and a distant counter set can of course be run to make full use of his res by tanking mages.
May darkness claim you!
On number 8 I've got Leo and his BRYNHILDR. BRYNHILDR was a very fun tome to use in the first few months of the game when skeletons wasn't a thing, and as the metagame evolved, Leo didn't really stand out. So now with refined BRYNHILDR, he can do what a healer can with a gravity plus staff and restrict his target's movement to 1 and also the enemies within 1 spaces of that target. But Leo also has an extra effect on his refinement, which is similar to what BRYNHILDR did in Fire Emblem Fates, which is reduce the magical damage by 50% based on his skilled stat. But when it comes into Fire Emblem Heroes, it will only reduce damage on the very first hit, like Divine Tearfang, and Takumi got his Fusion Yumi refined similar to what it did in Fire Emblem Fates. and if Leo is going to be getting a refine, then it will probably also be similar to what Brynhildr did originally. This refine also allows Leo to be an amazing mage tank with his 30 res, but he still has his flaws as he will get doubled quite a lot and he doesn't hit very hard. Still, with this refine, he can survive some stupid things like surviving against a +10 merge Reinhardt who does not have Quick and Pulse Moonbow, and this also allows him to safely spread gravity by attacking mages on the enemy team, as the damage reduction will help him survive. And you can run a distant defense set on him that makes him a solid unit against mages, and you can even run a set to utilize the maximum utility of gravity in the player phase by running the first set.
Let me through!
As the game goes on and new power crept units get released, Asuka Trio keeps losing the relevance, and I'm pretty sure that if they were not in the arena rotation for bonus units, a lot of people might not even upgrade them to 5-star rarity. So you do need to give them appropriate buffs so that they can keep up with the metagame. Alphonse has Defiant Attack 2 built into his weapon pretty much, but now Defiant skills are completely outclassed by the Brazen skills, so it's appropriate that Alphonse gets Brazen Attack in his weapon, as attack is one of his strongest stats, and out of the Asuka Trio, Alphonse is definitely the hard-hitting unit out of the three. And with his amazing base attack of 35, he can definitely do a lot of damage. The extra effect of this refine would give him Vantage 3, and I know that Brash Assault on him would be much better, but Lin already has that, so that's why I went with Vantage. But honestly, Vantage is not really that bad on him because you can always run Brash Assault Sacred Seal and run Desperation with that, and Vantage has amazing synergy with Brazen Attack in his weapon. With Brazen Attack active, Alphonse can reach 58 attack in the player phase, and with his default Deathblow skill, he can reach 64 attack unboosted, which is so good. It might look overpowered to give a Brazen skill on his weapon, but the Asuka Trio members cannot be merged or have IVs, so you need to give them an upgrade that lets them be on par with merged units. Now if this becomes a reality, then let's see what sets you can run with this refinement. The first one is a great budget set which anyone can run, and it works in both phases. When he's at full health, he'll be able to use Quick Riposte, and when he's out of the Quick Riposte range, he would be in the Brazen Attack range and of course the Vantage range, and then if he takes even more damage, then he will get into the Brash Assault range. And honestly, Brazen skills and Brash Assault have great synergy. You can also stack up the Brazen Attack and Defense skill with his weapon and use the Desperation and Brash Assault combo for this monstrously offensive set. So Alphonse pretty much gets 65 attack and 39 defense when he's in the range of both Brazen skills. This set is definitely his best set, and then the third set is a Wrath set. Brazen skills do synergize well with Wrath, and this encounter gives you a good amount of points in arena and also allows you to hit extremely hard with his inbuilt Vantage.
More than you bargained for?
And now we move on to Ana. Ana is the speedy one out of the Asuka Trio, and speed is not enough if you cannot do much damage. Her biggest flaw is her low attack stat, and this refinement tries to fix that. Ana has got Escape Route 2 built into her weapon, and after refinement, it will become Escape Route 4, just like how Lin can have Brash Assault 4 built into her weapon. The extra effect of her weapon is Attack Bond, which synergizes extremely well with the escape route in her weapon, because whenever she's gonna be teleporting with that, she's gonna be near an ally, and thus she's gonna be getting the +5 attack bonus, so at least she won't hit like a wet noodle anymore. Her first set is a nice budget set that she could run, and Fury helps her reach the Desperation and her escape route range, so it definitely works nicely with that. And with the second set, you can actually run another Bond skill and have Ana hit 55 attack unboosted, which is pretty nice.
Found your weak spot!
SHARENA is the final Asuka Trio member, and she desperately needs a refine. So Alphonse is the hard-hitting unit from Asuka Trio, Ana is the speedy one, and SHARENA is the support unit. But the problem with that is that SHARENA faces a lot of competition from Ephraim and Brave Lucina for that role of a support Lancer, and it doesn't help that both of them are better than SHARENA in combat, and even other infantry Lance units like Summer Robin and Nefni can outclass SHARENA when it comes to combat. So she needs a refine that can help SHARENA find her own niche, because compared to those Lancers, SHARENA cannot really win. So FENSALIR refine gives SHARENA triple threaten and infantry pulse. FENSALIR before refine has threaten attack 2 built into it, and with refine you can have 3 threaten skills at version 2. And now this might look a bit insane, but remember, this is not ploy debuff like Arvis, so it does not have a huge range and only has 2 range of a threatened skill. Infantry Pulse as her extra effect gives her amazing support utility to many infantry units, and a lot of free-to-play players have not been able to try Infantry Pulse because it's locked to Dorcas and Summer Xander, and both of them are 5-star units, and SHARENA can make good use of this because from the refinement she gets plus 3 HP, which puts her at 46 HP, and that's more than both Dorcas and Summer Xander, who have got Infantry Pulse naturally. With the first set, she can buff all stats of an ally while giving them the Infantry Pulse support, and this especially is good for infantry Blade Tome mages like Nino and Tharja because Blade Tome increase the special trigger cooldown by 1, and then Infantry Pulse can help nullify that. Not to mention, if you've got an extra Dorcas or Summer Xander, then you can stack up Infantry Pulse with her weapon because multiple Infantry Pulse do stack. This gives infantry units a lot of power because they can always have their specials like Moonbow and Glimmer ready at start of their turn, and Blade Tome mages can have turn 1 Glimmer, which is amazing. So this makes SHARENA unique in a sense and makes her a fantastic free-to-play support unit that does a lot of debuffs and also supports the infantry allies.
If this is war, so be it!
On the 4th spot, I've got Erika. Her brother got a refine on his weapon, and honestly, Ephraim's refine is one of the best in the game. Ephraim always has been a better buff bot than Erika because of him being a better combat unit and also having blue color, which nicely covers the weakness of a Blade Tome unit like Nino. And Erika, because of her low attack stat, has always struggled, and you have to run Triangle Adept on her so that she can take on green units easily, and Ephraim does not have those problems, so offensively there is no way Erika can outperform her brother Ephraim, but we can give her a utility that makes her a unique buff bot. So her Sieglinde Refine gives her Hone Attack 3 just like her brother, and the extra effect gives her a very unique and special utility which protects infantry allies from debuffs and Panic Ploy. With debuffs and Panic Ploy being so common, it could be pretty interesting thing to see in both arena offense and arena defense. It gives the infantry Blade Tome mages an edge over the mounted Blade Tomes due to Erika's ability to protect them from any sort of debuffs and Panic Ploy of course, and it also has an HP threshold condition just like Ephraim's Refine, and you would have to keep her healthy enough so that she can protect your Blade Tome mages, but that's mostly gonna be for the first few turns, and after you have taken out the Panic Ploy unit, then you can easily engage in combat with her. This refine also gives her +2 might to her weapon because her attack is quite low, and Jafar also got a might increase on his deathly dagger with the refining, probably because he also has low attack, so this provides a decent counterplay to Panic Ploy and debuffs when using infantry Blade Tome mages.
How amusing!
On the 3rd spot, I've got ZEPHIEL. ZEPHIEL's legendary sword is quite underwhelming, and with Weapon Refinery out, you don't really have a reason to run it over a Refined Sling Edge Plus or a Refined Wood Out Plus. In Binding Blade, ZEPHIEL did have 1-2 range on his sword, but I think we should not give Disencounter to every unit ever because I do have another unit on this list who has got Disencounter on his weapon, along with ZEPHIEL in his own game, and you can probably guess that unit, but I just do not want to give both of them Disencounter and call it a day, so that's why I've given ZEPHIEL's weapon a refine which evolves his Threaten Defense 2 built into his weapon to Threaten Defense 4. Threaten Defense 3 is not enough, so that's why I went with -6 debuff, and his extra effect is similar to that of Sanaki's, and Sanaki's Cymbeline effect does make sense because of Holy Guards in her own games, and similar to that, I've got the extra effect which gives ZEPHIEL +5 attack and +5 defense when there is a dragon ally within 2 spaces of him, referencing over how he wants dragons to rule the world with him, and this refine works really well for him and makes him even a more defensive unit. ZEPHIEL is easily able to cover the weakness of his dragon allies by taking hits from Julia and Daedra, and also not taking too much damage from Falchion users due to his extremely high defense. Dragons can still of course take on those set counters, but ZEPHIEL does make it pretty easy for them. The +5 defense helps him stay in his Weary Fighter range for longer, and it also allows him to hit very hard. A budget set with Earth Boost can be run on him, and with this set he can reach 55 defense, which is ridiculous, and he can also run a Disencounter set and a more offensive set actually with Fierce Stance and Heavy Blade, and this can be run to capitalize on the +5 attack he gets from his refine, and with this set he can reach 62 attack unboosted, which is more than enough to make use of the Heavy Blade Sacred Seal.
I won't lose! I won't!
On the second spot, I've got our boy. So Roy got robbed of his distant counter, and it's pretty funny because Binding Blade is known to be one of the most broken, if not the most broken weapon in Fire Emblem franchise, and in Heroes, it is so underwhelming. Not only that, but Roy's stats are mediocre, and the only good stat he has got is his HP stat. His current Binding Blade gives him +2 defense and +2 res in the enemy phase, and after Refine it will give him +3. Now I've not really increased it by a lot because it's a slippery slope to give extra skills into the weapon of units who have already got distant counter built into their weapon. The extra effect of course gives Roy distant counter. This makes things better for him, but he will not be as good as Ryoma or Ike even after this because he lacks the attack which both of them have and also the defense which Ike has got, so he cannot really fix his stat line. But compared to both of them, Roy has got better magical bulk with 44 HP and 28 res. Even after having another effect with distant counter, he's not gonna be too insane, but he's just gonna be much more viable now. And you can run a budget set with Fury on him and a very expensive set with Steady Breath and Ether, and he will be easier to invest into compared to other distant counter units because he can appear as a 4-star unit.
This ends here!
I will not fail!
Hope will never die!
The legendary weapon which needs an upgrade the most is Falchion. After Weapon Refinery Update, dragons have become extremely powerful, and at this point, I find dragons much more annoying to face than Horse Emblem. Falchion is a very iconic weapon throughout the Fire Emblem franchise, but Falchion in Fire Emblem Heroes fails miserably at slaying dragons. Dragons usually run Steady Breath in Arena and have refined lightning breaths, and that makes them even more bulky. All of the Falchion users in Heroes have got low resistance, so dragons can hit extremely hard, and dragons also run quick riposte, so attacking them in the player phase is not a safe option and will almost always result in a defeat of the Falchion user. And if you bait them out, then these dragons are fast enough to usually not get doubled, and some dragons like female CORRIN are naturally very fast, so it doesn't always mean that you will take them out in the enemy phase. The only dragon which they can slay is Fae, but other dragons are just as common. Falchion needs a refine which makes them efficient dragon slayers. If you give them a damage reduction from dragon attacks, it doesn't really help them to take out dragons, and if you give them an ability which nullifies the dragon bonuses like Divine Naga, then once again it does not really help them because dragons are not always reliant on buffs and are still annoying without any kind of buff. So in my opinion, the best way to seal the fate of dragons with Falchion is to have Breath Breaker built into it, and so far only Setsuna's Assassin Bow has got the built-in breaker skill, but Falchion could have this, and this means good things for the units who have got Falchion. Also, the Renewal 2 built into the Falchion will become Renewal 3 after Refine, so it stacks up perfectly with the Renewal Slot B skill. And just to give you an idea, a Deathblow unmerged CHROM with Refined Falchion can one-round KO a +10 merged Noe who has got Steady Breath and has got Defense Refined. Breathbreaker completely ruins dragons who always run quick riposte and makes Falchion really good against them, and this Refine allows Falchion users to take out dragons in any phase or at least do extreme amounts of damage to them. This also means Mass Lucina, who's a free-to-play unit, would also get this, and she can serve as a pretty nice dragon check for free-to-play players. The sets of these units don't really change with this refine, it just makes them better versus dragons, which they're supposed to be. So that is gonna be it for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and let me know in the comments what you think of my refines, and if you have got any other ideas, then let me know in the comments as well. So if you enjoyed, then please be sure to leave a like, and if you haven't already, then make sure to subscribe so that you do not miss out on more Fire Emblem Heroes content which I'm going to be uploading in future. So with that being said, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.